Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. There will, unless a miracle happens, only be one video because I don't have time for much more this week. As I said, the third of the Cleric or of the sets, of the clothing sets, and this one is themed around one of my favorite peeves. The piercings. So this clothing set is centered around the idea that the clothing integrally needs piercings to be worn. So I started with the bodysuit, as you can see. The bodysuit as a central piece of every, or as a common piece of every clothing set. The second one got a kind of bodysuit. It is more a two-piece, as in there's a left and a right side, because the middle is actually cut out. But yeah, all these sets have this kind of bodysuit. I can add a picture here of the final version of the other one. The bodysuit for this one was left side and right side. That goes through the whole, over the whole, most of the body. For the new set, I made sure there is pieces cut out where I wanted to set up the piercings. So there is a lot of the front exposed, a lot of the back exposed. The back has currently only one piercing, but the character would get a corset piercing as well once I am in the module of actually generating content with these characters, which is further down the line, but it is something I want to do. So all these 4 characters that I'm currently making, I want to be reoccurring and to be part of a story. Yet another story, I guess. After the bodysuit, I basically started making the whole setup. I actually made a painting or a drawing, a sketch for these, and the idea is working with a corset piercing idea for the whole thing, that that holds the clothing in place. So basically there's a few different rings which are the piercings, and I think what I want to do is I haven't rigged this yet, I haven't touched it yet. So what I want to do is I will replace the rings with way bigger rings. Right now the rings are relatively small in size, and I want them to be way bigger, at least the outside part. Basically split this and have the outside part be really thick rings, because you can almost not see them in the final render. Speaking of the final render, at the very end there is multiple pieces, because I talked with a friend about this, and he suggested a few different ideas of how we want these piercings to go. So of the colors to go. So basically we made I made different colored versions, and we'll go over this. To say that, I will keep the current color. So the first one that you see is the actual render, the actual version, because what I want to do is make basically alternate versions. Like these are basically the good guy versions, the uncorrupted versions of the clothing, more or less. And the idea is to later on make a corrupted version where the character is somehow fall into corruption, to the taint, and this would be reflected in the changing details of the outfit while keeping certain elements. For example, the last one, which had a theme of chains, would have still chains, but the chains would look different. I specifically chose the rectangular chain links for the last one, and the new one would have chain links reminding of that, but different. For this character, relatively obviously, the piercings would get more intense. There would be more piercings, they would be more intense, they would be more pronounced, bigger, more dominating the outfit, more or less. Like this is one thing that I currently like. There are the piercings in the outfit, they are not that defining. They are there, they are defining the outfit, but they're not intrusive as much. And the next ones would be much more intrusive, would be much more set in the outfit and pervasive. They would be much more pervasive to show this fall of dominion for the character. And yeah, that's basically the whole thing. The idea was then to make this what I'm currently working on. As you can see, this wrap around the body that is covering the body, at least partially. The most cover worthy parts, I guess, are covered with this wrap. And after I made the whole thing with the extrusion tool, I basically went copy pasted, you will see this in a bit, and yeah, I altered the second one to make sure that it doesn't clip too much with the second one. I also added these elements here to the wrap, so it looks like it is crunkled up. Currently missing the word for it, but it is what it is. And yeah, the whole thing was is basically the idea of clothing that needs piercings. The theme for the last one, I can actually spoiler, is belts. The last one will have like little belts everywhere. I was thinking about adding these to this design already. Like I had drawings, or I had the sketch with this design with the belts attached. And then I thought, well, I actually can make the belts a theme for the last outfit, and then later on work with that to also make different belts, work with the belts differently in the alternate outfit, in the demonized outfit, more or less. Yeah. One issue that I had is most of the things fit fine, but as you can see, one of the windings on the front didn't fit the ring, and I didn't see that until later, until I made the edges. You can see me make the edges right here, and what I had to do is basically just grab this and alter this a bit, so this is just fine. It looks a bit differently each side. It is not perfectly symmetrical, but that is fine. Lastly, of course, I had to cover the breasts, so the plan was always to make like some kind of collar again that would then go over the breasts, cover them at least partially. The most important parts, or the most important parts of the breasts, are covered, and again work with piercings to fit the whole thing together, to fix the whole issue together. The veil that is in the final render I have not made in a video, and I have worked on footwear for this particular outfit. This is not the footwear she is wearing in the final render. There is something like more in the making for this one, but I didn't have the time to put this in the video. I actually almost forgot time while making this, and actually on my last leg to actually make the video in time before work today. So yeah, this is the reason for the quality that is currently going on with this video and the content. Yeah, I added this ring, and I plan on later on like hanging a short chain on top of the ring. The chain element is something that I try to add to all my clothing, but in this case I have to rig the clothing as well, because I want the end hanging down from the breast to actually be its own bone and be rigged, so it doesn't break with the whole thing. When I change the body, this is something that currently happens. When I change the body size in different areas, the end of this neck wrap is just crunkling up, and I don't want that. So I have to make sure this doesn't happen. But yeah, that's it for this video. Enjoy the few renders at the end, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys around.